Every time he got the ball on the wing, the stands would jump. Not because he was about to score, but because anything could happen. A feint, a dribble, a burst, a defense collapsing. His moments always came out of nowhere like a flash. And in those seconds, it felt like one guy could flip the whole match. But this story has another side too. Zaha was a player meant to be a superstar. A player Manchester United bought to build their future around. A player Ferguson himself praised, and who, a year later, ended up back where it all started. Wilfried Zaha was born on November 10, 1992, in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. When he was 4, his family moved to London, the city that would later become his home. At 12, Wilf joined the Crystal Palace Academy. And even back then, coaches were saying, "He's got dribbling in his blood," and they weren't wrong. March 27, 2010, his first team debut against Cardiff City. August 7th that same year, his first goal for the club against Leicester City. The kid broke through. He was hungry. For football, for recognition, for the big stage. In 2012, Zaha tore up the championship. His pace, his flair, his ability to take on anyone one-on-one, that was already a weapon. Then, Manchester United bought him. Sir Alex Ferguson himself saw a future star in him, but fate had its own weird script. After the transfer, he was sent back to Crystal Palace for the rest of the season to help push the club into the Premier League. And what does Zaha do? In the playoffs, he scores the decisive goal that sends the Eagles back to the Premier League. A hero. He arrives in Manchester, makes his debut, even wins the 2013 Community Shield. But after that, he barely plays. New managers, new ideas, zero trust. And by 2014, he realizes, it's time to go back where people actually understand me. Summer 2014. After a failed spell at Manchester United, Wilf feels lost. He returns to the club where he grew up, and it's like he can finally breathe again. The fans welcome him as if he never left. At Selhurst Park, a banner appears. "Welcome home, Wilf." Season after season, Crystal Palace played tough, honest, sometimes chaotic football. But they always had one man who could change everything. Wilfried Zaha, dragging the ball through half the pitch on his own, flipping games upside down, tearing up the wings, pulling the team out of hopeless moments. And here's what mattered. He did it every time, no matter the score, the opponent, or the mood. Managers changed. Players came and went. But Zaha was the backbone holding Palace together. The team was on the brink of relegation. Everything was on the line. Tens of millions, the club's entire future. And who steps up to take control? He scores the crucial goal that officially keeps the club in the Premier League. And every season, he had those moments. The goals that made Selhurst Park absolutely explode. The tricks that ended up in every best of the week highlight reel in England. Zaha didn't just become a guy who played beautifully. He became every fullback's worst nightmare in the Premier League. The 2017-18 season was his peak. In the match against Chelsea, he picks up the ball, bursts into the box, and calmly slots it into the corner. The first win of the season. Then comes West Ham. 97th minute, Palace are losing 2-1. Wilfried receives the ball on the wing with his back to goal, turns, and scores. These 2 weeks transformed him from a fan favorite into a symbol of hope. The derby with Brighton, a double that shook the stadium. In the 5th minute, Zaha taps in a low cross. 20 minutes later, another attack, a cross, and Wilf heads it into the net. 29 matches, 9 goals, 3 assists. But numbers never defined him. He dribbled past 3 players at once, won dangerous fouls, dragged points out of nowhere with sheer will. Big clubs wanted him, but he stayed. And the next season, he kept on deciding games. Against Huddersfield, Zaha scored a ridiculous solo goal. One of those moments that explain exactly why people love him. Burnley, Crystal Palace. A match where Zaha was in one of those moods again. He twisted defenders inside the box and smashed the ball home. Next game, against Leicester, he bags another brace, and Palace win 4-1. Because he was so quick and so sharp, defenders were forced to foul him constantly. Then comes Southampton. Zaha gets fouled, the ref says nothing. He snaps back and gets booked. Wilf sarcastically claps at the referee. Boom. second yellow, red card. But despite all the chaos that season, Zaha achieved the first double-double of his career. 10 goals plus 10 assists. That's Champions League level production. 34 games, 10 goals, 10 assists, 130 plus successful dribbles. Top 3 in the whole league for dribbling. One of the best stats for chance creation. But the numbers aren't what mattered most. It was the impact. Without him, Palace looked like a team just hoping for luck. With him, like a team that could beat anyone. He became the guy people said, if he played for a top club, he'd be a world-class star. Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, all after him. Palace put a price tag of £80 million but didn't want to let him go. And in 2019, they offered him a fat new contract to keep their key player. And Wilf stayed at Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace could be down 0-2, but if Zaha was on the pitch, the game was still alive. The more electric Wilf became, the more negativity he faced. After a match against Arsenal, he got hundreds of racist messages and threats. He said that sometimes he was even afraid to open his phone. In one interview, he said, "They want me to be quiet, but I'm not going to be." By the mid-2020s, Zaha had become the club's main icon, over 450 games. The club's top scorer in the Premier League era. A fan favorite for every manager. A player you just couldn't replace. He turned down huge salaries from other clubs. Arsenal, Tottenham, Everton, they all wanted him, but he stayed. Because Crystal Palace is a part of his life. The fans called him the King of Selhurst Park. When his contract ran out and it became clear Zaha was leaving, the fans cried. He left as a legend, a guy who carried the club on his shoulders for almost 10 years. Zaha takes on a new challenge, Galatasaray. He starts the season carefully. He needs time to figure out Okan Buruk's style. And then comes the Champions League match against Manchester United. It's straight-up movie stuff. You're playing against the club that once bought you, but where you never got the chance to shine. And in Manchester, with the stadium roaring, Zaha scores against them. In Turkey, he scored at key moments. In games where Galatasaray was struggling, he often came on when the team needed a spark. And he delivered. An interesting thing, Wilfried became super versatile at Galatasaray. He played on the left, on the right, behind Icardi, even sometimes as an inside winger. He wasn't always in the starting lineup, but Buruk valued him for the moments he could create. When the defense got tired, Zaha was the perfect joker. Then a loan to Lyon. Things didn't go well there. Few minutes, few chances, little trust. And here comes another plot twist. He moves to MLS. By 2025, he played 33 games for Charlotte, scored 10 goals, and added 11 assists. Now he's 32, and he's still hungry. He could have broken in Manchester, could have gone to China for millions, could have given up after the racist attacks. But he became who he is, a Crystal Palace icon, a club legend, and one of the best dribblers of the Premier League decade.